over the summer with the Rio Olympics. My name's Natalie Trujillo, and I'm actually a junior in sports communications and Spanish double major with a minor in social media marketing. And I'm from Dalton, Georgia.
I'm Haley Cruz, a senior public relations major and a management and leadership minor. I'm from Metamora, Illinois.
I'm Jessica Sazameda. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I am a senior and a sports com major and marketing major with an ML minor.
And I'm Melody Mercado, and I'm a senior journalism major from Belvedere, Illinois.
So this summer we actually interned out at NBC Sports headquarters, so that was pretty cool. We were out in Stamford, Connecticut, covering the Rio Games live, so that was really interesting for me. It was just a brand new experience, but what was some of your favorite experiences from it?
I liked being around like a national production. It was really cool to see such an awesome organization like NBC Sports and how they literally put on the whole Olympic show for the whole world to see. So I thought that was really intriguing.
Yeah, they did a really good job of including us as well, inviting us to dinners where we get to socialize with a lot of their employees there, so that was really nice too. I like that.
I liked being in an environment where everyone had the same passion. Like all of the interns that were placed there loved sports, so you'd come in every day, and even when you got off work, we watched Olympics back home, and you'd come into work the next day and talk about what you saw. So it was really cool to have that in common with everyone there.
Yeah, my favorite part was probably just, besides having that common like about sports and everything, just getting to talk to your supervisors, and they were so nice to us, and then they were wanting to know what our dreams and what our passions were. And I remember Mel, actually you can probably talk about it later, but she talked about how she wanted to do something a little different than what we were doing, and so our supervisor found a way for her to try that out, and he was like, yeah, let me know anything that you need, let me know, I really want to help you guys out. So do you want to talk about how they did that for you?
Yeah, so I was talking to one of my managers, and I was like, I'm not complaining whatsoever because I love being here. I just like being a part of the Olympics. But I'm really interested in reporting and being an on-air reporter. Is there any way that maybe I would be able to shadow someone or maybe see kind of what that's like? And he said, yes, no problem. He was super helpful and just took me right downstairs and said, and I met one of the producers, and he took it from there, and I got to job shadow one of the digital reporters the same day. So they were so good in helping us maybe see different career types that were available there, and it was just really nice to see how different it is there versus at other places.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. I'm a public relations major, so my job was very much on the production side of things, which was really cool, especially from a public relations standpoint. It's good to know all aspects of how they put on the Olympics, but our supervisor told us that if we wanted to come in on a day that we had off, to job shadow, so I got to see the social media team and the public relations team, which I was definitely interested in. And I figure I'm there for, it's a once in a lifetime experience. I can sacrifice a day off to do something like that. And I found out about an internship program that they have past graduation. So even looking toward the future, and I wouldn't have known that if I didn't take that opportunity. So
you mentioned days off. So how many days did you guys get off?
We had about maybe 3, I want to say.
3 to 5.
Probably. Was it that much?
Maybe not.
I just feel like I was there all the time. But,
Yeah.
we had a few days off. Hours were pretty much crazy, but to be honest, when I'm in there, I don't even realize. I know I've been there for a long time, but coming out, I was just it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow. But I mean,
It
I
never
think,
stops.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I know for me and Natalie, working from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. is very interesting.
Yeah.
We took all of our drives together, and we were eating breakfast at 2, which was really weird, just to be on that kind of a schedule. But it was.
I thought it was.
I thought it was definitely worth it.
It was finals week every week.
Yeah, that's what I felt like.
No sleep.
Probably a
but-
bit more fun than finals. But
Yes.
It
On
was
the
a lot more fun.
sleep wise, yeah.
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 Like after the first few days, you kind of get like adjusted to that schedule. So like for me and Mel, we would like sleep in, which was like normal 8 hours, but then we'd wake up, go to work at 3, and then be home at 3 in the morning. But like once you're there, it's kind of nice to also see like when we were working the night shift, we got to see like what all goes into like Pacific prime time and like Mountain prime time and like East Coast prime time. So you got like a broader view of how all the production works to air all the information and all like the sporting events out to everyone in the country. So it was kind of nice being there late at night too. So it's not all bad just because we're like, oh my gosh, 3 to 3, you know. But it was definitely a good experience, and like it kind of teaches you like time management and how like this industry is just so crazy sometimes, and it's nice to just kind of be thrown in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely got a little taste of that industry.
We did all have one day off in common, and we went to New York City, which was really cool.
Yeah, we did a lot of spending time together too. I
Yeah.
honestly didn't know like you guys well at all, but I feel like afterwards we were kind of family.
Yeah.
We so as housing works out, we were supposed to find our own housing, but we were very lucky enough to have Dylan Corbett and his family take us in for the whole duration of the internship. And Dylan is a senior sports communications major, and he was also interning with us as well. And so we were basically a family for 3 weeks. We hung out together, we ate all of our meals together, we watched movies together, we went to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it seems like we have a question right now.
Can you tell us why you were selected?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think that looking across the board, you see so many different types of majors, and going there and seeing just the huge diversity of interns that they selected. But I think the one thing that we all had in common is that we had a very strong work ethic, and we loved sports. Everyone had a passion for either one way or another. Maybe someone was a diehard gymnastics fan, or I know for Natalie was equestrian. So we just had a desire to work, to learn, and that we all love sports, and we wanted to share that with the world. And I think
I think you covered it well.
Yeah. Pretty good. I also think like in addition to that, just like Bradley was so on top of it, and like Dr. Oliver was like, it's like he sent out so many emails and was like, guys, like we really want you to like critique your resumes and your cover letters and get like anything that you need prepared for your applications, and like go and like to the Smith Career Center and like practice any like interview questions. And he was like really like on top of it and like really guided us through it as well. So I feel like just having that preparation like also helped us to not be nervous during like, even though we were internally nervous, we didn't like show it through the interview process or like submitting our application. So I feel like that was a great help too, that like some of the resources we have on campus.
He definitely coached us through the whole thing, and like even gave us advice about being there, and we actually kind of made a reputation for ourselves. We they knew us as the Bradley group. They're like Bradley kids. We had like the most people there too, so they definitely knew who we were when we were around.
Yeah. And then before we even left too, like we all met up and we got to talk to each other and know who we were, because I mean we're gonna be living together, but I know some of the other interns, they came from bigger schools, they're like, oh yeah, I think there's another kid here from my school, but I don't know who it is, like, and I was just like, oh gosh, like how do you not know like who else is from your school that's interning there. But it was nice just to be able to like have those like resources and that support going into it. So did you guys meet any famous people while you were up there in Stanford?
I did.
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess at the like dinner that we had, the intern dinner, one of the sportscasters, I forget his name, gosh, that's bad, but one of the sports,
Robbie.
yes, Robbie, and I got a picture with him. He was really nice. He actually mentioned to the whole table that if we ever wanted to go back there and talk to him, like feel free to reach out. He even exchanged emails with a few of us and was like, oh, like I know what you're going through. My son's a sports comm major as well. Like I'm trying to help him out, so reach out to me. Don't be afraid. Really nice people, really good people out there.
Yeah. It was the like dinner that we had in the beginning. At my table is two Olympic figure skaters, and they're a married couple and adorable, and it was really cool. The girl talked about how she turned her Olympic career into now she's an on-air talent. And just talked about how she channeled like the work ethic she put into a sport into her career now. And that was cool for us because I'm sure a lot of us like did sports growing up and stuff. And now we're very career driven. So to see what it takes for an Olympian to talk about how it's hard to have just a normal job and their work ethic is insane. It was very encouraging.
Yeah. There was definitely like a lot of Olympians that like we did not expect. Like coming into dinner, we were kind of like, oh, okay, like I guess they're just gonna talk to us about like procedures and like rules, and then we get there and they're like, hey guys, we're here to like celebrate you guys for being selected, and they were like so upbeat, and we like felt super special there, and like next thing you know, we have like different Olympians just sitting at all the tables and like on-air talent, and like the person that I had, he was like doing all the play-by-play for all the soccer games, so he actually like gave us his information to contact him and was like, if you guys want to come in and like hear me do this stuff live, like feel free, I'll tell him and like keep the door open for you guys. So that was like really nice too, and just getting that like once in a lifetime opportunity to like interact with them and like just to see them, and like we were able to snag some pictures. They were like, oh, you guys want pictures? And we're like, yes, like don't even have to ask us twice. So that was really cool. So what was something that like surprised you besides meeting the Olympians about like working at NBC?
The first thought that came to my mind was like, yes, it is very professional and they expect high quality. It's the Olympics, but also they were laid back in the sense that we all knew our supervisors very, very personally, and they were willing to like help us out like through the job shadowing or with our resumes in the future or whatever. And like they had nap rooms and a giant break room where there was like miniature golf and table tennis and all that stuff. So they wanted to make the experience as enjoyable as possible, because I mean that's more motivating to work in that type of environment. So I was glad that it was a very refreshing atmosphere. So
yeah, I was very not that I was surprised, but I was just, I guess, taken aback about how well they took care of everyone, especially the interns. I was kind of almost expecting to be like, do this, and like no one was going to be nice to me. But they were all super welcoming, so friendly, and NBC just made sure that we never left hungry. We had a meal plan, and there were chefs there that prepared food every single day, and there was such a wide selection for every different types of dietary restrictions, and it was just, I was just so amazed. And talking with all the employees, you know it's a great organization and company when nobody you talk to wants to retire.
Yeah.
They just want to work there for the rest of their life. So I had never met people that were so passionate about the company that they worked for before until I
agree. I was really impressed with their facility and just their like wanting to help and provide like all this information or like help for you. I know I exchanged a few emails even after my internship with my supervisor, and she was really helpful with like creating my resume or adding on to my resume. She gave me a few ideas, and she told me to stay in contact with her, let her know how things go in the future. So they really do care, and they show it too. So it was like that relationship they build with you was really, really nice.
I know one of our supervisors, his name was Brett, and he was always like cracking jokes, and then like because he's a little bit older than us, well, a lot older than us, he was like, you guys, you youngins say like hashtag whatever, and like so every time he'd say something like hashtag this game's on, and he would just like make full sentences into hashtags. So it was nice to just kind of crack up about that. But then he also started like the intern games for us, so like we would get to like guess like how many ratings or like how many viewers like women's gymnastics would have, and so we would all like pitch in our guess, and like the one who got the closest got like free like gear and stuff, or like any miscellaneous items that they had. So we were all like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And so we would like all be there on time and like ready to put our numbers in for like all the different events going on, and he always got a kick out of it too. So it was really nice just to be able to like kind of goof off but still be like professional at the same time. time. But I think the free swag was probably the best, and like as you can see, we all have something. So when we got it in the mail, we were all like super excited.
I
We
was
got,
so excited.
I think Kaylee posted pictures first, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like she got it. I'm about to get mine.
Yeah, I definitely brought Snapchat, so I was like, guys, look.
Yeah, like, the book bag and like the jackets and the t-shirts and stuff. It was just so like cool because you're like, oh my gosh, it's like really coming and so fast.
Yeah, that's what made it real.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
she got it.
I think that was so nice because NBC really needed and demanded of us to work so many hours, but in exchange for that, they offered us so much. So, which is why, I mean, I would wake up and be like, man, I cannot wait to go to work today.
Yeah.
Like,
You can tell they really appreciated what we did too.
They appreciated every single person there, down to like the janitors, all the way up to the on-air talent. They
Yeah.
treated everyone the same.
Yeah, even their head producer sent us an email. Remember we
That
got
was
that
cool.
email, and he was like, "I'm proud of what you guys are doing. Like you've done this, accomplished this, helped us do this." So to like receive that and know that our work was we were doing really good was nice.
Yeah. That's what I appreciated a lot. Like, we were trained in the beginning, and after every day they'd give us feedback. And like you said, to know that our work was actually going towards something, they wrote in words how we've been useful, made you want to come into work every day. Like, to think that you're a part of something that's so huge was cool.
Yeah, and then like all of us had kind of like different jobs or like different tasks, so like just kind of getting to see it all put together was really cool. I know Haley and Jess were loggers, so what exactly did you guys do during the day? You sure?
Yeah.
So we would watch the live feed from start to finish and basically do like data entries minute by minute, second by second. So you're constantly busy while watching, and the editors would then take a look at our notes, and we could like rate certain parts of like,
Clips.
yeah, like if a goal was scored like by a U.S. athlete, like that would be a 5-star moment, like if it's gonna go viral. And we would just use our discretion of like what people would want to see, what people like, because there's just so much. And then the editors would take a look at our notes and then form highlight reels. That's how I would explain it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. They pretty much took what we thought was most important and what was most relative and kind of made highlights out of those, or even like introductions and endings to the Rio Olympic programming. And we even did off-air programming that was in different language. Spanish, I know I had Spanish, and we had to kind of listen in and translate, really, just to help them out and help select from their own program or other programs as well.
Yeah, that was used for like looking at the ratings. So if it was something that was currently on air, like it wasn't a live stream, they would use those entries to look at okay, what was going on when ratings spiked all of a sudden, and like some of the work that like they showed us how it was paying off was there was a huge rating spike when swimming was going on, so the next day they showed swimming for a longer duration of time. So every day it's amazing like how it is kind of flexible, like their programming and stuff, because they want to tailor it towards the viewer every day.
Do you want to talk about what we did?
Sure. So we were, and this is a long name here, digital sponsorship integration coordinators. And what we were responsible of was all of the live streams online. So every single Olympic event had its own individual stream. And then, so let's say you only wanted to watch the 5K finals, the 5K women's finals in track, but you didn't care about anything else that was playing that night. You could specifically go in and just watch that race uninterrupted. Like if you wanted to see every single lap, every single 1,000 meters, every single mile, that was available for you. Or if you just wanted to see like a broad overview of what was going on in track. There was an integrated feed that just showed everything that was going on. And so what me and Natalie did is that we would be assigned streams, sometimes maybe 2 or 3, depending on how busy we were that day. And it was our job to integrate sponsored content, which is just like paid for advertisements, either locally or nationally, during times where there wasn't anything going on. So maybe a timeout, we would try and figure out, like, lay down our groundwork. Okay, so a timeout is maybe 45 seconds. I can fit in a 30-second ad. And you wanted to make it nice and fluid so that it didn't seem like you were breaking off content. We had specific rules, like you weren't supposed to put in sponsored content before or after a U.S. athlete, because people around the world are watching that. And if you're about to go watch like Usain Bolt race his last race, and all of a sudden McDonald's commercials come on, you're gonna be pretty upset. So it was our job to make sure that we were still putting in sponsored content so that the organizations that paid for that were still happy and getting exposed, but that also so that people around the world that were watching were able to watch their content uninterrupted without missing the important parts.
Yeah, it was kind of like up to our judgment, and then like because we really didn't get a whole lot of training, because sometimes you were put with sports you didn't know like necessarily all the rules about, so you're just like, okay, well, you gotta kind of watch it for a few minutes and then kind of like read they would have like packets there every day for us to read about the different sports and like the top athletes for every country or for that event. And so like you kind of had it's all your judgment call, but you also had to do a little bit of research to know like when was appropriate to like stick some of the sponsored content and stuff. So it was definitely interesting, something that I'd never done before. So going into this, I was like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing? I remember me and Mel were just kind of like, we've never done this. I don't know if we worked with those programs before, but like it was super quick and easy to catch on. And then they were so like supportive, and they're like, you can come in an extra day if you want like more help, but if you feel good, like it's up to you, like it's up. And we all ended up coming in like extra days, by the end of it we really didn't want days off, because we were like, no, it's kind of getting to the end, so we all just wanted to be there more and more time.
I think the biggest surprise for me was, like you said, doing the wide variety of sports. Like I expected us to kind of be assigned like one sport and keep doing that, but I know you and I, and I'm sure you guys did too, had like over 20 different sports, ranging from beach volleyball and gymnastics to archery and speed walking. Like it was insane, but I gained a lot of appreciation. I know Brandon, he's not here, he became a fanatic for handball. Like, loved it. So that was cool, just being exposed to different sports we hadn't before.
It definitely gives you also like a global perspective about it, like not only because the games were in Rio, but like you get to see like the US side to it, but also like different countries, because like literally anyone in the world could be like streaming in or like tuning into that stream, and just getting to see like how different teams like would communicate, or like what they would do, like especially like opening ceremony, just getting to see their outfits and all the team colors. Like I definitely learned a lot more like names of countries that I was like, oh, I didn't know that existed before. So that kind of extended like my own knowledge too.
Yeah, it's a really big eye-opener seeing all these different sports, or what other countries really appreciate or really like. Like there's a lot of sports that we don't see here in the U.S. that are popular, but you see them in the Olympics and you're like, wow, like there's other places out there. Like it's just a really big eye-opener.
And I think the most interesting sport was the modern pentathlon.
Oh yeah.
So
we
that
had to Google that.
I had to Google what it was, because I had no idea what that was. And it's like one of the newest sports added to the Olympics, and it includes horseback riding, that's equestrian. Swimming, fencing, shooting, and running.
Yeah.
And the running and shooting is combined. And apparently it's supposed to be everything that a soldier can do. So I guess that made sense after I found that out, but before I was like, what does this even mean?
It just seemed random.
It was random, especially the running and shooting, when they were like, it was 2 miles, the race was 2 miles, but they were on indoor turf or something and would run around in circles, and I just thought, okay, I'm a track runner, so running around in circles is not a big deal. But it was kind of odd when they would run like 2 laps and stop and start shooting guns, and then go back and run again and shoot more guns. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's an audience for that, and I did not know that until I worked the Olympics.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I had cycling for one of them, and in the beginning of the cycling, I was like, this is gonna be really long. Like, there's like over 20 miles in the cycling, and I have to just watch this. And towards the end of the race, I was literally on the edge of my seat, like, oh my gosh, you got this, like, go, go, go. I was so into it, and I actually was hoping I'd get that again as an assignment, because I really liked it.
It was funny because everyone would have on their headphones and just be like in the zone of their own sport, and all of a sudden you'd hear someone like jump out of their seat, like hollering, and it's like, what's going on over there?
And even when there were like big moments, like with the swimming, like I know
Everyone.
the supervisor would be like, oh, let's go watch it in the like super live section, like it's like actual, like to the second, so we're all watching, sitting in a big group and cheering on, so it was really cool.
We hate to break it to you guys, but me and Mel got to see everything 5 seconds before you guys. So we would all cheer, and then 5 seconds later, you'd hear everyone else in the building cheering. Like when Michael Phelps like got another medal and stuff, and we were like, "Oh, it's old news now."
5 seconds.
Okay. I'm bitter.
It was funny. That was like an echo.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely like a good experience. So if you're like thinking about like applying for it, like it's, I mean, obviously it's not every semester, but I mean they do come around pretty frequently and like pretty fast in comparison. Like I remember coming in as a freshman, I was like, oh, like the Olympics are coming up, but like I wouldn't, because I applied at the end of my freshman year and I never would have thought that like I would have been selected. I was just like, oh, like the upperclassmen are gonna get it. Like they've had a lot more experience than I have in like different stuff. Their resume's a lot longer than mine. And then I remember it was a long process waiting to hear back for like the first interview. And then it was about like what, 6 months or so, or it was
It's like almost a year
well,
until
we applied in May, at the end of May, and then we hear back until October for the first interview.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
and then from there they're like, okay, like you guys will hear back soon, and then till January we all heard back, and so it was a long process, but it was definitely worth the wait. I know we were all just kind of like, did you hear anything? Did you hear anything?
Yeah, I was
I
really
remember the
just
first time I
nervous.
think me and Haley talked was when she messaged me on Facebook. She's like, so, have you heard anything yet from NBC?
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
It's like,
But,
yeah,
I was
you.
waiting. Everyone was just like, have you heard? Have you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you like want to be excited and hopeful, but you also don't want to set yourself up for disappointment.
Yeah.
I cried when I found out. Like I was at cheer practice, and so I didn't get the email right away, of course. And I picked up my phone and saw it, and like all my teammates knew that I had applied, and I didn't even tell them like what happened. I just started screaming and I was running around, and I don't know if they were confused if something bad or good happened, but eventually I like told them.
Eventually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Where were you when you found out?
Me? I was in my kitchen. My dad was there, and I was just like, I think I just got it. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, look. So for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I actually got it. I didn't think I would, or I like didn't want to bring my hopes up.
Yeah.
So to me, it was really surprising.
I was in LA for a J-Turn trip, which all of you guys should go. It's super fun and really informative. But anyways, so I found out through an email, and then they called me, and then I remember looking at. Yeah, they called me and and let me know that I had got it. And one of the first persons I told was the professor that was there with us, which was Professor Marsh. Oh God, guess what? And he was like, what? I was like, I got it. And we were about to go out to dinner, I'm pretty sure. And then I told everybody else there, and they were really happy for me. And I cried and called my mom. Yeah. What about you?
I got like really excited. So I found out probably like a week or two after you guys did.
I was
probably.
last.
Oh, you were
Yeah,
last?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely last.
So I found out, like, I had just gotten back to campus to start, like, the spring semester, and, like, I remember that we had a Bradley versus ISU game that night, and everyone had already left, and so I was in my room, and I had just woken up from a nap because I had just gotten back, so I drove 9 hours, and then my bag was in my room because I lived in my sorority house last year, and we were getting ready to go to my game, and then I got an email, and I was like, oh, like, I bet it's my mom texting me because I just got back. So I looked at it, and it said NBC, and I was really scared to, like, open it. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is either really good or really bad. And then I opened it up, and I started, like, jumping up and down, and I was, like, crying too because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've been waiting such a long time. So it was nice to be able to, like, tell my big and also just, like, have that email, and then I was, like, texted my mom, and then she called me, and then I went to the game, and I was just, like, super excited. Like, I couldn't sit down, so everyone probably thought I was being, like, an overexcited, like, fan in the stands because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, it just kind of hits you, and you're just like, whoa, like, is this real, or, like, can someone pinch me?
Yeah.
Yeah, because even when I got back home, I was just pacing all over. Like, my roommate was downstairs, and she's like, are you still, like, walking around? I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. But, yeah, so,
It's definitely exciting.
yeah, for all of us.
And you definitely won't know unless you apply. I mean, I feel like I talked to a lot of people who were like, oh, I want to apply, but I wasn't sure, I didn't think I was going to get it. But
That
I
was
feel
actually
like-
me. I almost didn't apply, and I was just
Right.
like, no, like, I'm just gonna put myself out there, like, do it.
All right, you're not gonna, you're not gonna lose anything by, applying and taking that chance on yourself.
Yeah.
So, we have a question.
Yeah, we have another question.
So Jen asks, how will you use your internship in your future careers?
Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
So for me, I really want to be an on-air reporter. So what that NBC experience will do to me, for me, is I was actually entering for an NBC affiliate my sophomore year as a reporter, and then junior year I did the Rio Olympics NBC internship, and for me that just that shows that when I apply, I'm currently applying for a reporter position at NBC Chicago, it shows that I really have a passion for their company. Look, I really want to work for you. I've seen what you're all about. I love your work ethic. I just love everything about your company, and I want to represent you. And especially making those connections there. All of our supervisors said they would write us letters of recommendation, and definitely when the time came and I contacted them, they all wrote me that letter that I needed, and hopefully it'll help me get that foot in the door to continue working for NBC. But once again, I probably won't know until after graduation, several months from now. But I think just the internship experience itself, because I wasn't necessarily doing things that a reporter would do, but the fact that I was willing to take on a job because I was needed and because it was on such a large scale shows that I'm willing to do anything for my career or for my job. I'm willing to give anything for the company that I want to work for, which in this case is NBC.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, just to have that name on your resume, NBC, shows a lot, and they really stress that they hire within, so they all started as interns. I know at the internship dinner they were like, yeah, we've all started as interns. We were you a few years back, so knowing that we kind of already do have a foot in the door, just like we're recognized, it's a really good feeling. Like it I don't know, helps me like think that, hey, I'm gonna be able to get a job.
Yes.
So.
So my major is public relations, and like that's so general, and there's like lots of different avenues I can take with it. So yes, if I get something sports related, that's an automatic like connection. But also if I take it to something even unrelated, like to show that they looked at my skills and chose me for this job, and yes, it was out of my comfort zone, but I was able to do it on an Olympic scale, like, and be able to deliver. I think is cool to be able to push yourself in ways that you didn't imagine before, and really market that to an employer. So.
Yeah, I feel like this internship just gave me a new perspective to everything. Like my past internships, they've all been a way for me to realize like what I do, like what I am passionate about, and like what I see myself as just like, oh, okay, like that was fun, but like I don't really see myself doing that for the rest of my career. But kind of getting to work in the operations in the back, like the behind the scenes stuff for the Olympics was really interesting to me, and I really feel like that's an avenue that I would like to go down. So just having that experience and like being able to talk about that, like in an interview, just having that as like a back pocket type question or type answer, really kind of is helpful just to like get your foot in the door, but also be confident and be like, well, I didn't really know initially like what I was going to be doing for the Olympics, but I like took the challenge head on, and I ended up learning so much from it, and now I can like see myself like either using those skills or just being confident in like that I'm able to learn whatever else like might come in my path.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the time we have right now. So thanks for tuning in with our live questions and answers from some of the interns. So if you have any other questions, feel free to talk to us.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.